so-and-so. Does it seem like that's what he was saying? That's exactly what he was saying. That's because up until that time, I put it like this, everybody else was in that for some reason. But none of them were in there for the reason that Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui and I was. And it didn't take him no time to pick it up. You know what I mean? And we were friends. You could tell that there was something there different than what he was relating to everybody else. This guy got the dream, man. He's got the thing. And everything else will fall into place. Don't worry about it. That's exactly what he was telling them people. That's exactly what he told them. That's exactly what he meant. He said it before that program, and he was saying it after. And it made all them people act funny. When I started coming back to South Africa after that, the next time I come, you would think they'd be ringing bells and stuff. They was up to something. They were all up to something. That means that they were on a different team than Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui and I were. They were just on a different team. You know, okay. Because he didn't mention nobody else that got the picture. He didn't mention, you know, this guy talks nice about Quran and all that. But, you know, he didn't talk about him like, this is a good leader for you. If you want to get good guidance, just think about it. There he is, right there. He's way smarter than any of y'all think. This guy that's sitting here got good sense. He's got good sense. It's clear. He's got good sense. And he's got the ethics. They was talking about Mutaki leadership. He's got the ethics. Right? You can hear it. He's got the ethics the whole show. You looking for somebody to float in on the carpet? He just walked in right there. His shoes shining and everything. There he is right there. That's what he was saying. And what happened? Right after that, everything, for me going to South Africa, it was always something up there. They couldn't do nothing when Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui was alive because it would come out a little bit. When he passed away, that whole thing got funny. That's when I started. I said, well, hold it now. Now we're in a different stage now. I'm by myself, and I know it. You can be by yourself and don't know it, or you can. I knew that I was by myself, and I knew that everybody that was in the front seat, hey, that they played a part in dismantling. You notice after he passed away, you didn't hear nothing else after, about the community, I think it might have been. They had it set up all the way. They had it set up all the way. They had Yasuddin, he was the vice whatever. He was over there in London. They had everybody on the front row that was on the poster. They had it within a year or two or less. The whole structure is dead. They collected zakat to help people in Bosnia. Man, it was, and see, to show you, like Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui said, he said, look, I'm not a technical scholar, but I have organized this thing to where we can collect zakat. Non-territorial government. Can you imagine? That was big. Wasn't nobody thinking like that. When Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui started talking in the early 70s about the problem that we're having now, is he talked about governments, nationalist governments, which we were all talking about nationalist governments. But he was saying they should be Islamic and not nationalist. So he evolved, he jumped right, this is the early 70s, he jumped right on what was right. Because he had a head start on us, you know what I mean? But he was paying attention, who's catching up. So I asked a couple of questions in 85, I said, I said, on your random sowing method, random sowing method means I'm going to put out information where I can. Whoever picks it up runs with it. Random sowing method. So I asked him about, in fact, it was down in Texas. I remember the program just like it was yesterday. And the answers that he gave, because when I heard it, I thought it said the mutual sowing method. He said, no, random sowing method. I am randomly spreading seeds, the truth, around in a random method. Whoever picks it up and runs with it, they got it. Right? But I'm not going to stay there and water it. It has to be self-watered, or maybe if you water it yourself a little bit, it might get little roots, But that was the system that he was using 84, 85. Within 6 or 7 years, he had developed enough people. By 92, that's when they started the Islamic Parliament in Great Britain. Masjid Islamiyya fi Britannica. So they inaugurated, they got it rolling. He had wonderful meetings, and they were really, this is a non-territorial government. I mean, this is a government in exile. These are people who are running their own affairs, but they don't control the government. You see what I mean? They don't control the territory, but they control their affairs. So they can certify halal meat. They can settle arguments and discussions, right, between the Muslims. All of those things. This is unique. What's so unique about it? It's so unique because, number one, you got all of these people, and now there are thousands and millions of them in the Western world. They don't have the territory, but they have the people. They have some of the institutions. So he's saying we're going to develop these institutions so they get tighter and tighter and tighter. So we'll manage our own food, right? We'll have programs. They're the first ones in 93, 94, that period, that gave big money to Bosnia, the Bosnian Muslims. Remember those days? They were slaughtering the Muslims. Yeah. Okay. So, Dr. Khalim Siddiqui had designated who he thought. He said it. It's not, you'd have to be a dummy not to know who, He's actually saying it. This guy right here, he'd take us all the way. I'm not going to be here but another couple of days. That's basically what he's saying. Because the doctor told him, if you go to South Africa, you won't be back here. The doctor just told him, and he was too old to get a heart, you know what I mean? Because they got these little guidelines, so he said, we can't hold it long enough for you to get that. So if you go down there, you won't make it back, which wound up to be true. We don't know how much influence they had on making sure he don't get back. But I know one thing for sure. All of those brothers, Zafar Bangash, Muhammad Al-Assi, all the big shots from over there, when, I don't know if anybody ever saw it. Did anybody ever see any of this stuff, these visible lectures?
You mean the ones?
The ones, yeah.
Yeah, I actually watched those that he gave.
Okay, you remember when Dr. Khalim Siddiqui is giving a talk? Can you remember that?
I think I saw that scene.
He turns white, man. He rocks back and forth.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit hard for me to pick up on it, but when you bring it up, I think I remember the scene where he legit pauses.
He pauses.
He pauses.
Hey, man.
And then
he was about ready to go.
Yeah.
With all of that going on, those Negroes, I call them Negroes, they were going up to Botswana. He's telling everybody, I'm tired of going. You guys can do it. need you. Because he's tired. There's a sign, you just saw it on the thing, right? Right after that, we go up to Botswana. I remember perfectly because the airlines was down or something, and our friend of ours owned the Bush airline in Botswana. He has several airlines in Botswana. He's a Muslim, he's the richest guy up there, and so his brother owns the car dealers, and he owns the he has his own little airport, like they fly people back and forth. And so when we was at the airport, and they were saying, well, we can't get no planes, so he said, just hold on. Now, Botswana and South Africa is pretty close together. It takes 4 hours to drive, so it don't take but 45 minutes to fly there. So he said, y'all just wait there, and hold on. We look up, and there's a plane come, and we all get on the plane. But Dr. Siddiqui said, I don't feel, he was tired. And we just saw it in our programs before. So those niggas killed him. They did it on purpose. We gotta have you, he didn't have to have us. You say, you guys go up there, do a little fundraisers, do everything, everybody's already, I'm saying is that every time there was an opportunity for big good to happen, these people has been in place all the time, they prevent that good from happening. If you notice everything we have did, there's been people there to stop it. What's the difference with us? We knew they was there, we knew who they was, we knew that all of them was there to, divert it, slow it down, and what have you. Because our part we played in the movement. So we were not surprised at anything that happened at any time during our movement. Because we knew from the behavior of the people, where they was coming from, who they was with, you know what I mean? And they lived it out. They lived it out on the surface. So all of that period of, from 1980 to 1985, we're learning a lot on this. We got the game before, but we are learning this group of people. So it was clear what they was doing. Okay, now us right here. Everything they did to Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui, they did to us 3 or 4 times over. If we was gonna choose the most abused group in America, just kind of on the right road, it would be us. We win every time. With less harmful effects. Why? Pre-planning, pre-thinking, playing dead, all the Negro things that people would do, to beat an opponent. We did all of those things right here. We're still doing them now. We're still doing them now. That's why everything that happened, we can relate to what had happened, who it was, what had happened, because we've been paying attention, right? And why all the stuff that happens to us, it don't hurt us. They can take what they want, it don't hurt us. They could have everybody in the lineup and be deployed, it don't make no difference. Why? Because it's been like that all the time. That's what it's been. And that's what it will be. Until the next phase that we're going in, we'll talk about that later on, but this is a phase we're getting closer to substantial realities right now. What is substantial? Substantial realities mean that 10, 15, 20 years ago, we could say something and some things would happen in response to that. But now we're going into a period of substantial happenings. this is closer to the curtain call for this historical period, you know. Yeah, it's closer, okay? It's closer, and we're gonna do whatever it takes that's necessary for us to get through it. And get through it now is not a time of, well, if we do this, this, that. No, this is one of those critical periods when now the things should happen to keep everything in balance and keep things going in a certain way. In a way, we don't have to worry about, just like we didn't have to worry about Don. Look, this thing is laid out. It's almost like Allah telling them, y'all can play around if you want, but you know, you don't know what I might do. You keep on messing around. So what it is just like we could sit right wherever we was at whatever time, and we could outline where the movement is headed. Why we know where the movement is headed? Because the movement have us surrounded. We're sitting there surrounded, and we're not upset about it. We're not even mad about it. That's where it is. So whatever thing we sign with the people that are there, they sign it to pass the time away. When the smoke clears, you'll be there by yourself. Why? Because that's what it is. That's what it is, and it ain't never been nothing but that at that time. Because the preparation for that period had already started way back. That's how it's important to understand the trends and what those trends will lead to. If everybody else don't, that's their business. But the reason you can forecast is because, very simple, that you know what things lead to, what combinations it take to lead there. And where is the world? The world is moving closer to a climax during this season. What I mean is, the climate is exactly what it is. So if Mamala and the other man want to just run a game like it would have been fine for the 70s, 60s, you know, that'd have been fine. But right now, the time is up on all of that, right? You're either going to clean up the air and the water and stuff, or you're going to get past the point of no return. That's just the way it is, right? Okay, you're going to keep playing around with this nuclear, this, that, and other, and somebody going to push a button if you don't straighten it out. You know, that's just the way you're doing, you know. It ain't nobody's fault. Well, it could be, but somebody has to take care of those things. The imbalances in the earth have to be fixed. You can't have all those people, well, not all those people, 5 or 10 people over there with half the money in the world. 5 or 10 people, half the money in the world. That's just a nice way to put it. I think it's worse than that, right? I think it's worse than that. Okay. And here's the rest of the people. It's like you live in a town with 100 people. Well, we used to do this mathematically, 99%. We said, suppose you got $100 in the whole town, and you got, one guy got 99 of those dollars. One family, they live over here, maybe on the hill somewhere. And then you got the whole 99 people. They fighting over a piece of that 1% that they got. And they got to walk by your house every day, right? Pretty soon, they're going to say, hey man, we just gone and bump homeboy up here, and shoot, we'll all have 1 cent apiece. He won't have it all. 99% of the wealth. He got up there, he's looking out the window, and he hiring us all to cut each other's throat and run around in circles, right? It's got to come to people's minds sooner or later. Sooner or later, I don't care how much magic and voodoo dust they spray on people's mind and run them crazy. Temporarily, eventually, look how you think revolutions happen throughout. This is different now. They always happen, but they were so brutal and so murderous, right? They were so mad because people did them so bad. Okay, we got to stop them. We got to slow them down. We don't want the world to go through that type of murder. That don't mean we can stop it. But on our part, what we're going to try to manage, we're going to try to put brakes on that. Because the more mayhem and murder and killing that goes on, the harder it is to put the society back together with love and compassion. That's what it's going to have to be. This next go round, it's going to have to be those elements. You know what I mean? It can't be bloody capitalism, right? Laissez-faire capitalism, right? Because people are slow today, but they're not that dumb. And the people got enough sense to want to play a part in the future life. Okay, so those are the people we're working on. That has nothing to do, namely, with religion, but religion. In a few years, the only people that will be wanting to have children would be religious people. Right? Because other people, they just want to run around and they don't want to have kids, right? So the math is going to turn in our direction.
They might not even want to have sex anymore, the way they talking.
The way they talking, look, the way they talking with boys, and all this new math coming out. Guy sitting up there with the tender in California. He just, hey, I'll see you later, and that's it. He ain't moved by none of the facilities or nothing. Really not. But see, when there's a lot of that, overpopulation produces a naturalness in people where they don't want to have. This is natural. This is Allah working here. This is not them. They mentioned it on TV. They mentioned it here. That seems like it's